A match so nice I've done it twice, but this time, after a count out the first time, and a non-finish the second, or technical knockout the second, we are back with Braun Strowman and Keith Lee colliding. This time, 2 out of 3 falls in a falls count anywhere matchup, because the rules can't apply to these two big behemoths, and well, we need 2 out of 3 falls because it seems like one fall can't be a finish with these two men. As Keith Lee gets the first lateral press after the shoulder block, he goes for the Mongolian cross chops, but Strowman picks him up. Keith Lee reverses the big military press slam just by knocking him right in the mouth. Snap suplex by Strowman. Pendulum elbow drop by Strowman. Strowman is just manhandling Keith Lee right now. Heaves him across the ring. Uncharacteristic of the Monster Among Men, he is climbing up top. The Monster Among Men is climbing up top. Diving knee by Strowman. And Keith Lee kicks out before the count of one. Keith Lee kicks out before the count of one. Keith Lee's got a half camel clutch. Is that what you would call it, a half camel clutch? Keith Lee grabs the leg and throws off the balance of Strowman. Knife edge chop by Keith Lee. Big right hand. And overhead throw. What a show of power from the big man. What a show of power from Keith Lee. Just being able to heave Braun Strowman. Belly to belly suplex by Keith Lee. Keith sends Strowman in the corner. And a big body splash. A corner splash by Keith Lee. And now Lee is doing what he does best. And that is climbing to the top rope and hitting a picture-perfect moonsault. Lateral press. And the first 2 count of the matchup comes from Keith Lee after a moonsault off the top rope on Braun Strowman. Elbow strike right to the back, right to the mush by Strowman. Mongolian cross chop. Keith Lee surprisingly goes for a lateral press, but only gets 1 count, unsurprisingly. Unsurprisingly, Keith only gets a 1 count. Balancing Strowman on the ropes. Keith. He steamrolls right through. Pounce. He hits him with the pounce. He hits Strowman with the pounce, does Keith Lee. Showing, what these two can do against somebody of their size. It's dumbfounding, to be honest with you. It is frankly dumbfounding. Keith Lee gets reversed. Keith Lee went for a belly-to-back suplex, but Strowman reversed him and just lands right on top of him, I should say. Dragon screw, leg whip takes down Strowman, and just a drop toe hold almost by Strowman, who stands on Keith Lee, putting all his weight down on Keith. Strowman goes for a big right hand. Keith Lee shows off his power, and he just drops Strowman off his back and hits him with a big right hand. Keith Lee hears the fans and is going to get a table. Keith Lee got a table, and he sends the table into the ring. These two men stay outside the ring, though. Strowman picks up Keith Lee and just drops some snake eyes on the hardest part of the ring. He drops some snake eyes on the hardest part of the ring. Strowman sends Keith Lee back into the ring. Keith Lee is resting on the table. Strowman reverses the knife edge chop with a knife edge of his own. Wait a second. Strowman just powerbombs Keith Lee to the outside. Lateral press, but the referee's out of position. And Keith Lee somehow kicks out at the count before the count of 1. You'd probably attribute that to the fact that the referee was out of position. And the fact that Strowman had to come outside, so it gave Lee an opportunity to regain his composure. As Keith Lee shoots up his hand, he shoots up his shoulder at the count of 2. Like he's trying to set off his alarm and not hear it ringing anymore. The more I say that analogy, the more I hate that analogy, or the more that the analogy sounds insincere. What is Strowman doing on the top rope? This is uncharacteristic of the Monster. It is uncharacteristic for Strowman to go up top even once. He's gone up top twice in this match. You know, it's uncharacteristic for Strowman to go up at any point during a match. Keith Lee tried to use the table, but Strowman blocks it and plants him with a side slam. Wait, what the hell's going on here? What the hell's going on here? What the hell is Big E doing out here? What in the hell is Big E doing out here? I'm confused. O'Connor roll by Keith Lee takes down Strowman. No, only a 1 count. Strowman. The Yokosuka cutter. The Yokosuka cutter by Strowman. 2, 3. Strowman gets the first pinfall. I totally forgot, honestly, that it was 2 out of 3 falls. I honestly totally forgot that it was 2 out of 3 falls. As now Keith Lee. The Big Bang Catastrophe by Keith Lee. And a big mistake by the big man not going for the water press right after. 2. Strowman kicked out. Strowman kicked out. Keith Lee can't believe it. I think Keith Lee made a big mistake not going for the cover right after the Big Bang Conspiracy. Right after hitting it for the first time. But Keith Lee tries to surprise him with the small package. Again. Maybe he got lucky the second time. But Keith Lee went for something there, but Strowman blocked it. Strowman blocks him again. Big, I don't know if it was a choke bomb or side slam, whatever you want to call it. It was a big move by Strowman. Strowman with the power slam. Strowman with the power slam. And Keith Lee falls 2-0 to the Monster Among Men as Strowman gets a clear-cut victory against Keith Lee and the momentum that goes with it. Props to Strowman for a hard-fought matchup, and props to Keith Lee for sticking with it. Even when the odds were stacked against him, Strowman had him scouted and got the victory. With that being said, if you want to see more matches like this, let me know down in the comment section below. And with that being said, I will see you in the next one.